This is basically just a Fox News story featuring Mark Levin, which is the guy you see on screen here, talking about people just pouring into America, and they're here to destroy America, and that's why Trump was elected because people voted to get the illegals out of the country. Um, it's being done, and then we have all this ICE stuff going on, especially mostly in Minneapolis. We don't hear a lot of ICE stories going on in a lot of other states. It's mostly one fucking state, and of course, it's the same state that has over 20 billion in fraud, allegedly hidden by the company, by the government, the mayor and the governor and shit there. So this is this guy talking about
Those
Minneapolis.
who attack the President of the United States give him the credit he deserves. When will they understand that this man operates outside the box, which is why he's so damn successful in his private life and in his public life? Rather than tearing him apart and trashing him, maybe they ought to emulate him. Because he gets more done in 1 hour than most people get done in an entire month. Now let's take a look at this. Panama. He said, give us the Panama Canal back. We built it. Our people died. We
Yep.
paid for it, and it's ours. And it was the dumbest thing.
We so America built the Panama Canal, and it was dangerous, and a lot of Americans died building that fucking thing. Less people build less people died from building skyscrapers, if any, in America. But the Panama Canal was very dangerous, and a lot of people lost their lives to build that.
To give that canal to the Panamanians. And he was right. Now, why did he say all those things? Well, they happen to be true, but Communist China was controlling both ends of the Panama Canal. Do they control both ends of the Panama Canal today?
Nope.
No. We do. So our fleets can get from the Pacific to the Atlantic, from the Atlantic to the Pacific, which was the point of the Panama Canal, without going all the way down around the Horn of South America.
Yep.
Now the president looks at the map and he says, we got a big problem.
So if you're not familiar with where the Panama, I can't, God, the Panama Canal is. The Panama Canal is right dead center in the middle between North America and South America. So it's just south of Mexico in Panama. It's a very narrow strait, and a lot of shipping container ships go through there. But yes, it was legitimately built so that we could get our fleets to come from, let's say, Virginia, all the way down, come around North America, the Gulf of America, go through the Macau. Why can't I say this fucking Panama Canal and get to the Pacific Ocean quickly? Otherwise, they'd have to go all the way down around South America and back up, which would take fucking forever. It would take months. Okay? It literally takes a week to get from the South China Sea to Iran. It takes a week in an aircraft carrier. Can you imagine how long it would take to do that? And you can't go up around North America because it's all ice up there pretty much. You would need some icebreakers to get you through that shit. Although I think an aircraft carrier could probably plow through some ice with no problem, but if it's, But that's the whole reason for it. But then China took over that shit. They were controlling the Panama Canal. And it's like it was allowed for years by the Democrats. Trump tried to get this back in his first term, but then we had COVID, fucked everything up. COVID, riots. Now we got riots again. Hopefully no fucking pandemics happen again. Maybe it'll be aliens this time or something, but he talked about this early this year when he first got into office, that he was going after the Panama Canal, and he's fucking getting it back under our control. We built it. We lost lives building it. It's ours. We're taking it back.
The Communist Chinese and the Russians, they're building bases in the Arctic, military bases. How are we going to compete with that? How are we going to address that? Plus, I want
Greenland.
This Iron Dome, the Golden Dome, and we need the space to do it. And he looks at Greenland, and he says, Greenland is ripe for the taking by our enemies. They got about 12 people and 4 million goats up there. And, of course, the Danes don't have the capacity to...
And 2 bobsleds, right? That was Trump's famous comment, like, you know, Greenland doesn't really have a defense. They just added a second bobsled. So, what did he say, 12 people, 400 goats?
Defend anything, including themselves. What do they have, 5 frigates? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. And so he says, well, we got to do something about this. He says, okay, we're going to take Greenland. Oh, everybody lose their mind. Yeah, we're going to take Greenland. We have Democrats running to Greenland saying, we stand with Greenland. You know, they stand with everybody who stands against us.
Except your own people.
Nature. That's what they do. They're knee-jerk. But the president has a plan in mind. And the plan has worked out beautifully. And he goes to Davos, and everybody wants to talk to our president. Everyone wants photos with our president. Why? I mean, we're told that he's destroying all this magnificent international...
We know why.
We've built. No, he's rebuilding it and making it American-centric. That's what he's doing. And what happens? There's a negotiation that takes place. At least fundamentally, if the media is correct, we're going to have some bases now in Greenland that will be sovereign American territory so we can defend ourselves.
There you go.
And the rest of the world that always depends on us anyway.
He'll never get Greenland. Now, I get it. He was talking about purchasing Greenland or making it the 51st state. That didn't happen, but they did make a deal so that he could go do that. He offered them over $700 billion. $700 billion to own Greenland, the country, the island. And it would have given $100,000 to every citizen of Greenland. They're like, nah, we don't want to do that. I'm sure all those residents would have been like, I don't give a flying fuck. I want the money. I want 100. I don't care who the fuck is running our goddamn island. I want the $100,000 because that would have changed your life. That's a lot of money. And I think Greenland uses U.S. dollars, right? I think they use U.S. dollar up there.
So we're going to have some bases there, some docks there. And that was genius. And in addition to that, he secures our border. Because the president understands securing the border is both an imperative from a domestic point of view and a national security point of view.
Yep.
People are pouring into this country who want to destroy it. People are being sent into this country by our enemies and by our adversaries, by the communist Chinese, by countries in Africa, by countries in the Middle East, by countries south of the border. He says that's going to stop.
If you live anywhere here in the red circled area on the map and you have an old, struggling furnace or heating system, right?
And he stops it cold. Stops it cold. We debate on and on. We need legislation. This guy won't do this. This guy. He says, we're going to secure that border and shut it down. And he does it. In like 30 or 60 days.
Yeah.
Now he sees we have a problem. The people who were let into this country under the Biden regime. They were not only let into this country, they were literally flown into this country by the Biden regime from the Middle East and elsewhere.
Yeah, and do you know why? Do you know why? They weren't just taking in refugees and shit like that, just trying to be nice and stuff like that. When we don't have enough infrastructure or a healthcare system that works or enough benefits for American citizens to survive half the time. But we're flying in all these people from other countries. We're letting all millions of people cross the border to come in and get all of what we can't have. We can't even get, but they can. They flew them in here like it was nothing. So he's stopping that. He's stopping all of it. And he's sending them all right back home. If they want to come over here and live, fine. Come over legally, man. Come over legally. All for that. But you're not going to come in here, break the law, sneak into the country, and get free benefits for everything.
And this has created a huge problem. We literally have Islamists in our country who are openly preaching the overthrow of the United States of America.
And we have some of them in government. Some of them are in government. Ilhan Omar, right?
Then Trump says, this is going to stop. We have to deport people who hate our country. You come here,
100%.
You love our country. You assimilate into our country.
Actors and singers and sports players alike as well. You don't like the fucking country? You bitching about it? Get the fuck out. Get out. We got a ticket for you.
You show allegiance to our country. That's the way it's supposed to work. Immigration is supposed to work for the American people, not against the American people.
Yeah, so if you decide to move to, I don't know, Australia. I don't know where it would be safe to move to anymore. But if you move to Australia and you want to live there permanently, yes, you're an American, but you're now an American Australian. You have to honor and abide by the laws of Australia. All right? You're not going to go around toting an American flag everywhere you go. You can put a sticker on your car, maybe hang a flag off the front of your house or whatever. That's okay. But you don't need to go around protesting and waving American flags everywhere. You're in someone else's fucking country. Respect it. The same thing applies here.
That's been the way historically immigration's supposed to work. Foreigners don't have a right to come here and then try and destroy our country.
Oh, I was going to say, I totally forgot. The reason why all those people were flown in and allowed in over the border. You know why, right? There's only one reason why they were allowed in. They're voters. Voters. For the Democrat side. For the liberals. And now we're getting rid of them. It'll be interesting to see in the next major election how many votes are cast. I think he just did an executive order the other day eliminating voting machines and mail-in ballots. So now nobody can use a voting machine or mail in a ballot. You need to get your fucking ass out of your house and go down and get in line like everybody the fuck else and show your ID and then vote. Prove you're a citizen and that you're actually who you are and vote. So what was the last election? Like Trump had, 84 million? Kamala had 79 million or something like that. It's 150 million votes. So I'm curious to see in the next election, we won't know for another 3 years or two and 3/4 years. That number should come down drastically based on how many illegals were eliminated from the country. So probably 5 to 7 million he's going to end up deporting over that time. I might be wrong. Clip it. But I'm pretty sure when that election comes, if he stays up on the border, that number of votes will come down by about anywhere between 5 and 7 million. Watch.
And of course, he's up against
Clip it.
lower courts that are filled with left-wing Democrat lawyers in black robes, and he's fighting them, but it is a fight that has to be fought. It's fantastic, all national security related. You can't divide domestic and foreign policy. We have people on the far left, and we have the isolationists and the neo-fascists and the Marxist Islamists. Focus on affordability.
Part of the other problem he was just talking about, you have like the Supreme Court. You have the Supreme Court problem, right? So you have an odd number of judges. So that way when they vote on something, there's never a tie. So you have an odd number of judges. But they should be impartial. They're not impartial. They're either appointed by Democrats or Republicans. And now, a Republican appointed judge doesn't always side with the Republican. They will do sometimes what's right. Same thing with a Democrat appointed judge. But majority of the time, they vote politically. They should be impartial. And that's what fucks everything up. Because the president can only do so much within his own power. That's why you have Congress, why you have the Supreme Court. That way one person can't just do whatever they want. You still have policing going on. So they can not veto, but they can vote against anything he wants to do. An executive order or whatever. So they can eliminate that from happening. But they reject some of the stupidest shit. Like, what was it recently with Don Lemon? Went to Minneapolis and encouraged a group of rioters to invade a church while it was in session, which is a felony. the FACE Act or something, I think it's called. It's a fucking felony. You can't do that. You get arrested for that shit. They arrested 2 people so far from that group. The leader and some other guy. But when Pam Bondi put out a request to be able to do charges for Don Lemon, Supreme Court said, nah, it's good. Good. Nah, Don Lemon's okay. Let him go. Rules for thee, but not for me. Right? How the fuck is that right? That dude should be arrested and in jail right now, awaiting a trial. But no, not a celebrity.
Domestic and international relations
No.
tie together. Whether it's tariffs, whether it's immigration, whatever it is. You can't put one in a box and one in the other box. And by the way, the President of the United States on economic issues has done more than any president in my lifetime. He's done more than Franklin Roosevelt has done. And those tax cuts haven't even kicked in fully yet. They're going to kick in, and all the rest of it's going to kick in, and the economy is going to it's going to get much.
The tax cuts I think that he's talking about should be applied at the end of this month, unless I'm thinking about something else. That Americans, certain pay grades, should be getting a lot more tax returns. Their tax returns should be higher. Tax rates go down or up. No, they go down. So your taxable income is less, so you get more back on your checks. That's supposed to happen now or by February 1st or something like that. So you should be able to see that on this year's tax return. You should see something bigger. And like, that's one big thing for me. All these years, I was making, upwards of 80, 90,000 a year. A couple of years, I hit 6 figures with bonuses. And I was only getting like $3,000 in taxes. I know people are going to be like, what do you mean that's all you got? Well, the salary's high. So I can imagine if you were making like 50, 60, you were probably only seeing like a $700 return, right? It's just fucking stupid how the tax brackets work. So now, but when I was younger and I was working my way up the ranks, I was making 40, 50, 60. I was getting $2,500, $3,000 back then. I made more money and I got less taxes back. Tell me how the fuck that works, right? I was still in the middle class. So this year, I retired in October. I retired last October. Done. Fucking done with it. So I worked for 10 months out of the year, so I'm curious to see what kind of difference happens. And I always get fucked on my state tax. Federal is usually pretty good. I've only owed one time in my life, and that was state tax. Oh no, that's a lie. It's federal tax. And it was because of fucking Barack Obama. And that stupid Obamacare shit. Where if you didn't have insurance one year, then you had to pay a $900 fee at the end of the year if you didn't have health insurance. One year I did not get health insurance for whatever reason it was. So I owed $900 to federal. And I was only getting like $800 back. But I owed $900. So I was negative $100 that year. You're talking like, what the fuck? I worked all year and put those taxes in. And you're giving me nothing back? Like, what the fuck? Yeah, I'm owing you money? Like, I just got done paying you all fucking year. Because of Obama? Fuck this guy and his Obama phone shit.
Stronger than it is already. No one of the Democrats can complain about. Oh, investigations and impeachment. That for another day. And so Davos was a huge success, as we knew it would be with our president. But that brings us to Iran, doesn't it? Iran.
Yeah. So he, not to interrupt again, but he dropped the fucking ball with Iran. And we still don't know what the hell's going on over there because they're at like 450 or 460 straight hours of no internet service or telephones, no TV, nothing. So he made his threat that, you kill one more fucking, one more protester in Iran and you're going to pay for it. Now, a week and a half ago, he moved, I think it was the Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier in that group. It's on its way to Iran from the China Sea, South China Sea. and it was going to take them a week to get there. I talked about that in a previous, earlier in this video, that it takes a week to get there. So it's been over a week. It's been 8, 9, 10. It's been 11 days now. So it should be there. So if you're going to do something, fucking do something. So there are reports that there are 5,000 that have been murdered, 10,000, up to 40,000. We have no idea what the real fucking number is, right? We saw videos of body bags all over the place in Iran, and family members are unzipping all the body bags, trying to see if they can find their family members. Just looking at dead people. That's true. That is going on. But we don't know the count of how many it is. One is too many. But it's allegedly in the thousands, up to 10,000, maybe more. But we have no way to know without the internet, because that's blocking us from being able to see. Only thing we can do is use satellites. But if the bodies are inside of buildings, we're never going to fucking know. We're not going to. These satellites can only take still photos, I think. No, some of them can take actual black and white videos. It's not all photos, but you have to know where to look and when, right?
Leaders in Europe doing it.
But he let it go. He didn't go do anything about it. He should have bombed the fuck out of them and went in there and took the Ayatollah Khomeini out and just be done with it. I'm sure nobody would have fucking bitched about it. It would have been over. It would have been over.
About Iran. As far as we know, nothing. Now, they want a Palestinian state.
It's so frustrating. And again, I'm sorry, but like the Iran thing is frustrating to me, because you have over 1.5 million people protesting, which in the past, if you did that, they would murder you there. They'd fucking kill you. They'd kill you for protesting in Iran. So now you have over 1.5 million, close to 2 million people in the entire country protesting, burning shit down to get rid of this fucker. He's retaliating by killing them, and the president has done nothing. Now, should we get into everybody's business? No, but there's a genocide going on over there. This leader is killing his own fucking people in the name of Islam. You want that in America too, do you?
A war for its own survival against Islamist terrorists born of the Muslim Brotherhood that were funded and supported by our friends Qatar, funded and supported by our friends Turkey, and of course funded and supported by Iran.
Yep.
What about now? Why aren't they speaking up? Because it's hard. Because in order to resolve what's going on in Iran is difficult. It's not easy. You're not pounding a democracy, an ally. You're talking about an enemy, an Islamist Nazi regime. That's a lot harder to deal with than
Well, I wouldn't call him Nazi,
friendly
but
democracy that you keep beating up on and beating up on and beating up on, isn't it? Well, let's talk about Iran now, because I believe we need to help those people as quickly as we can.
I do too.
And it's not so easy, but it has to be done.
It does.
And in helping those people, what did I say? Foreign policy relates to domestic policy. We're helping ourselves. Why? Well, I just read in the paper a few days ago that regime in Iran has tested a missile, an intercontinental ballistic missile that goes 10,000 miles. Remember we used to say, that's 7,000 miles away. That's not our problem. 10,000 miles. Now, why would they be developing technology on missiles that can go 10,000 miles?
I don't know if that's true, though. They just blew up all their nuclear arsenal, like their nuclear testing sites. We took that shit out, like back in June, July, when they were having that fucking ordeal with Israel, Iran and Israel. We went in there and just blew up their shit. Now, they probably have stuff stashed someplace else, too, that we don't know about. But how the fuck would they be able to do that? 10,000 miles. The fact that Iran could reach America with a nuclear warhead is fucking crazy. It's scary. We know North Korea cannot. They can't reach us. We know Russia can, and China can. easily. But Iran is nuts because they literally wake up thinking death to America every day. And if they get the technology, what's going to stop them from doing it? They're all martyrs over there, man. Like suicide killers, man. They'll fucking do it. Like, fuck it. If the U.S. retaliates, our entire country will be wiped out. But you know what? We took a lot of them with us. And that's their whole mindset over there. They don't fucking care if they die. Well, the Khomeini does, because he'll be the first one to fucking skedaddle out like a little bitch as soon as something goes off. But they don't care if they take out our people or if his people get taken out. He doesn't care.
Because it hits Washington, D.C. Hits the entire East Coast. That's why. And the problem for us, America, we're not going to always have Donald Trump as commander-in-chief.
Nah, see, yeah.
As our president. Every president before Donald Trump said no nukes for Iran and did absolutely nothing. In fact, in the case of Obama, he signed a deal that would ensure they'd have nuclear weapons in 10 years. President Trump signed the retraction of it and handed me the pen, by the way, that has been framed and is hanging on my wall. That's right. Joe Biden, he had a great idea. Let's fund the Iranian regime. Let's give them billions of dollars in relief, and that way we'll buy their support.
No, that was Obama. Right at the tail end of his presidency, in his 8th year. That was not Biden. It was Obama. He had pallets of money, billions of dollars in cash on pallets, flown to Iran in the middle of the night. Why? Nobody knows. But we do know. He was funding them.
Of course, it's an Islamist Nazi regime. They take your money and they use it against us. And of course, that regime is working with Communist China. Communist China now is delivering ballistic missiles to them as fast as they possibly can. Of course, they're working with Russia. They've given Russia drones to attack the wonderful people in Ukraine and kill as many of them as possible. And yes, I support Ukraine. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I admit it.
Hi, I'm JT, and I made Result Hunter, the search engine for conservatives. Let me just tell you what it does. First of all,
Nobody cares.
Iran has interests far beyond its borders.
So you shouldn't be afraid to say that you support something, right? When did it become a thing where you have to apologize for supporting something? You know what I mean? Like, why? Like, how many times are you going to come in here and say that, dickhead, with different names? You got anything else to do? You're probably an illegal alien, too, right? Yeah.
And we are enemy number one. They've tried to assassinate our president 2 or 3 times, and they've threatened to kill our president in the last 3 weeks 5 times. Does that tick anybody off?
Yeah?
Does that tick us off?
It should.
It ticks me off. No regime should be able to threaten our president and still exist. The idea that if they kill our president, we will wipe them off the map, excuse me, they don't get to kill our president. That regime needs to be wiped off the map now. That's right, I said it. So let's start right there. What is it about this regime that withstands these protests, these people rising up? How is it possible that when you have the vast majority of people in Iran who want to be free, that they can't overcome the power of this Islamist Nazi regime?
That's my thing. Like, I was thinking about this the other day. If this happened in America, okay, what do we have? 7 million, 8 million people that live in America, something like that. We are not the most populated country on the planet, by the way. But we got 7 or 8 million people that live here, I think. I might be off, but I think that's the number. If we wanted to overtake the government, and I'm not suggesting we do, if we wanted to overtake the government, I'm pretty fucking sure that we would win, okay? Because they wouldn't dare. They might pull out the military, the National Guard, whatever. But there are a lot of Americans who have weapons too. And it's in our Constitution that the American people can fight back against a tyrannical government. So it can be done. They don't have that kind of constitution going on in Iran, right? But if you got 1.5 million to 2 million people out there protesting every day, why haven't they gotten to the point? It's been going on for almost 2 months now, right? A month and a half? It's like 6, 7 weeks now? 7? Okay. No. 5. 5 weeks, okay. If they've done it for, 5 weeks, why haven't they been able to overtake the government by now? I mean, I think Iranian people are a lot braver than American people. As far as protesters, okay? I'm not talking about military and shit like that. Our military is fucking the bravest thing on the planet. Our police officers, pretty much brave. Fire department, shit like that, EMTs. But when it comes to protesting, those people are sick and tired of what's happening in their country. To the point where they would probably sacrifice their lives to ensure that the future of that country is rid of Islam. They want to be Christian again. They want to be back to a Christian state. So why hasn't it happened yet? I think that's where he's going to go. What's stopping him?
Well, I'm going to read something to you. This opened my eyes. This is in the Middle East Forum, written by Saeed Golkar, in part. The Islamic Republic today functions as a theocratic security regime organized around Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and his family. Power is structured in concentric circles, with Khomeini and his immediate family at the center. Authority is highly personalized, and political survival depends less on formal institutions than on proximity to the supreme leader himself and his sons. It's run like a mob organization. A mafia that controls an entire country. Khomeini's leadership is defined by rigidity, discipline, and a deep sense of personal mission. He views himself not simply as a political authority, but as a guardian entrusted with a divine responsibility to preserve the Islamic Republic, a belief that leaves little room for hesitation or compromise during crises. And since assuming the position of Supreme Leader in 1989, he has steadily transformed the system into a theocratic security state that privileges coercion over popular consent, relying on a highly institutionalized and ideologically committed repressive apparatus. So here you have a man
37 years.
Islam as a justification for his power and turns it, claiming that the reason he's in power is to protect Islam. The structural reality, more than public sentiment, sets the boundaries of political change in Iran today and reflects a leader who prioritizes regime survival. I would say his survival and that of his sons, immediately surrounding the core, the family, is the Beit et Rabari, or Office of the Supreme Leader, the most powerful and least visible institution in the Islamic Republic. Khomeini's Beit operates in practice as the regime's actual executive authority. So he has this personal Politburo that's in control of everything. Everything. Over the past 3 decades, it has evolved into a vast and opaque parallel state that sits above the Constitution, the Parliament, and the presidency, staffed by thousands of loyal clerics, security officials, and ideological technocrats. The Beit shapes decision-making across military, intelligence, economic, judicial, and cultural domains. Rather than governing through impersonal rules or institutional checks, Khomeini governs through trusted individuals embedded across the state. The Beit also serves as the primary channel through which Khomeini's family, particularly his sons, exercise influence, turning it into both an institutional and familial center of authority. The Beit is not merely an extension of Khomeini's authority, it is the mechanism that allows his rule to endure, absorb shocks, and operate without constant visibility. And surrounding the Beit, the inner circle, is an extensive clerical network that confers religious legitimacy on that system. Through seminaries, Friday prayer leaders, provincial representatives, and regime-aligned senior clerics, Khomeini's authority is presented as divinely sanctioned. He is portrayed not merely as a political leader, but as the representative of the hidden imam. And this theological framing converts obedience into a religious duty and recasts repression as a moral necessity rather than a political choice. Clerical institutions such as the Assembly of Experts And the Guardian Council reinforced this sacred legitimacy while actively disciplining dissent within the religious establishment itself.
Yep, right there.
It goes on. Beyond the clerical layer lies the Islamic Revolutionary Guard.
It goes on
or the
a lot.
IRGC, and the broader security apparatus, forming the regime's coercive shield. Created to defend the Islamic Republic, the IRGC's primary mission since 1979 has been regime protection, preventing coups, suppressing dissent, and shielding the supreme leader. Over time, it evolved into a Praetorian Guard, extending beyond military functions into a multi-branch security organization.
Good God,
with
man.
Intelligence, expeditionary units, and the Basaj militia, each deeply embedded in society.
It's like a Reddit post.
The IRGC structure aims to contain unrest through decentralization, provincial commands, combining the IRGC, Basij, and local security forces, and it goes on. So what do we do now?
On and on.
Our great president is muscling up like never before. The USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group expected to arrive in the Arabian Sea or Persian Gulf in the next few days. Its air wing includes F-35C Lightning II and FA-18EF Super Hornet squadrons, EA-18G Growler electronic warfare aircraft, this is all public, E-2D Advanced Hawkeye AEW and CMV-22B Osprey tilt rotors. Escort ships, the strike group includes 3 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers and guided missile cruiser USS Mobile Bay, at least 1 Virginia-class nuclear-powered attack submarine, potentially an Ohio-class guided missile submarine are expected in the area. Strategic bombers, 2 B-2 Spirit stealth bombers.
Yeah.
Were reported departing the U.S. mainland for the region. Multiple air defense systems and so forth. So it's a massive presence. Also C-17 Globemaster III cargo jets, KC-135
Refueler.
Strato tankers, and KC-46A Pegasus aerial refuelers. Additional M1A2 Abrams tanks, M2 Bradley fighting vehicles, and so forth and so on to protect.
So when you got tanks, man, that sounds a lot like a land war. Which is kind of crazy. Like, you can't just go in and bomb the fuck out of them. Because you have millions of people on the ground protesting, right? So you'd have to go at a certain time of the day, I guess, or get a notification into the public. Get your ass to a certain part of the country. This area is off limits. America's here. And then just ring the doorbell. You know what I mean?
There. So given all the information I've just given to you, and of course the president has much more.
An ad with 2 minutes left.
The head of the snake needs to be destroyed.
Okay.
With all our muscle power and so forth. The pyramid. Not the edges of the pyramid. Not even the center of the pyramid. The top of the pyramid. Khomeini, his family, and that inner circle needs to be taken out by our armed forces.
Okay.
It's not an easy task. In addition, they still have ballistic missiles, maybe 1,000, to hit us, to hit the Israelis, and so forth and so on, which is why Israel needed time to have defensive missile systems in place, why we needed time to have our defensive missiles in place, to have our offensive activity ready and our defensive activity ready. And I believe the President of the United States, he'll have a number of decisions to make. He will make the right decision. This regime needs to be taken out. Those people live in basically what is a concentration camp. Tens of millions of them who want to be free, who want to work with the United States of America and the rest of the free world, who are being slaughtered in the most horrific ways, particularly the women, particularly teenagers. Just goes on and on. And this regime will not go away unless we make it go away with their 10,000-mile ICBM and nuclear warheads in the future. It's weaker now than it's ever been. This is a very difficult task, but a task it is. And I am certain the President of the United States will do what he said. And I'm certain he's the only one who can do what he said. This is righteous, complicated, daunting, necessary, compelled, and righteous.
Hey, Sean Hannity.
All right, so cool. Good video. And the problem with this in the past, and all these wars were probably wrong, but whenever we decided to go into the Middle East for a conflict, we had what was called a coalition, right? We'd have the help from France, mostly from Great Britain, but France, other companies would help us out with fighter jets, tanks, stuff like that. Back in Desert Storm, all that shit, the Afghan wars, Iraq, all that stuff. We'd be doing this alone. I think we'd be doing this alone. Maybe Israel helps, but I'm pretty sure we'd be doing this mostly alone, or maybe Israel is the only one who helps. And here's why. Everybody else is afraid of Russia and China, who have ties to Iran. They're scared of all of them, right? We have all that conflict going on with Russia and Ukraine, and they're bordering all these countries that used to help us. So now we've got England, who's being overran by Muslims, probably Islamic religion, going in. So now you got a guy, I forget his fucking name, the guy that wants to ban X or Twitter, in Great Britain. Just silence free speech over there. He is not a good man, and he most likely would not help. So this has to be taken into consideration that we'd be doing this primarily on our own, and we may piss off some other countries who may jump in to help Iran. Now, if they do, it would be a fucking huge mistake. An absolute fatal mistake that they would never be able to recover from. But we also would lose a lot. We'd lose a lot of good people as collateral damage if that happens. So some people may be pissed that he hasn't done anything yet, but you have to think, what's the recourse? What's the end game? What are we looking for as far as a solution? What is the outcome we want? We want peace in Iran for the people over there, right? But we don't want to lose a ton of Americans in the process. It's not worth it. If we can find out a way to do this without losing life, American soldiers, American troops, I'm sure he's going to fucking do it. But we need assistance. I'm hoping that's what he's doing. And I'm going to get off here in a few seconds, and I'm going to try to do some updates and find out exactly where the Abraham Lincoln group is, how close to Iran they are. And if they're there already, then we may see something in the next few days.